by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Time now for Wild's Weird and Wonderful, and we are super excited for the ALCS to start. Boston won the AL Championship Series back in 2018 between these two teams, so a little revenge opportunity for Houston. They took the season series 5-2 this year against the Sox. Game 1 tomorrow sure will be a wonderful, Kevin Wildes, but what else you got for us?
Oh, we're just going to have two, Jenna. We'll start with the weird. TNT hockey, the great one versus the round mound of rebound and goal. Gretzky said these would actually count to his goal record. He goes 4 for 5, and the miss was questionable. Shout out to the set design team for the ice floor. We should get that for Nick and his cold takes. Oh, I'm back, everybody. Moving on to the wonderful. Celtics Magic. Time running down. Jeff Doughton Jr. with the game winner and the fist bump to the fan. If you can see him underneath the graphic. Hey, fan, great job. I got blocked by the graphic. Crowd was electric in this one, like a real game. Magic, this is a take here. This is the hot one. Don't put this on the ice. Magic, 8 seed. You heard it here first. Okay, and that's the weird and wonderful from the National Pastimes.
Oh, wow, that's a bad prediction.
That's a take.
That's like really bad.
Hot one.
Here we go. Time for Chris Broussard to tell us who's under duress in Week 6. Big Thursday night football game tonight on Fox. Brady and the Bucks, Jalen Hurts and the Birds each Thursday morning before the week starts. Broussard takes a deep dive on which guys need to step up the most. All right, Broussard, tell us which 5 players are under the most duress entering Week 6.
All right, Nick, first of all, let me apologize, but I am led by facts, not feelings. So number 5, Patrick Mahomes. Yes, the Chiefs are 2-3
at least you got his
at
name
the bottom
right.
of the AFC West. Yes, Patrick Mahomes, I'll keep it that way, has thrown 6 interceptions already, equaling his total from all of last year. But the reason Mahomes is on the UD list is not because of his own play, which has still been very good. It is because of that historically bad defense. They're giving up 32.6 points a game, Nick. They're the worst defense in the league, and that is the 3rd most points per game allowed in the Super Bowl era of any team since then. And of the 19 teams in this era who have allowed 30 or more points a game, none of them have made the playoffs. Now, none of them have Pat Mahomes, all right? And that is the good news for the Chiefs. But the bad news is that Mahomes has to be perfect or darn near perfect every possession, every game. And that, my friend, is pressure. That is why Pat Mahomes is under duress. He can't afford to make mistakes with that poor defense. All right, at number 4, A.J. Brown, the wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. Yes, a wide receiver on the under duress list. A.J. Brown's coming off a Pro Bowl season last year. He was great. All right, and they expected big things from him this year, especially when they added Julio Jones and defense wouldn't be able to focus on him. But he hasn't delivered. All right, he did miss one game with a hamstring. But in the 4 that he's played, he's got 10 catches for 130 yards and just 1 touchdown. And that is part of the reason that their passing game in Tennessee is so bad and the offense has become entirely one-dimensional based around Derrick Henry. Now, Henry can handle it. He's averaging a league-high 128 yards a game, but he's only averaging 4.5 yards per carry, and that is his lowest in 4 years. All right, so is it starting to wear on the best running back in the league? They need A.J. Brown to pick it up and get some more catches, make some more explosive plays. He knows it too. He's admitted it, especially if Julio Jones may be out this week with a hamstring injury himself. At number 3, our man Derek Carr. It should be obvious. The Las Vegas Raiders are in the midst of turmoil. And now Derek Carr is the leader. John Gruden was the leader of that team, no doubt about it. Now it's Derek Carr. I get it. GM Mike Mayock now has the most, power in terms of personnel decisions, and they got a new head coach and all that. The leader of that team is now Derek Carr. And he has got to step up and bring stability and bring leadership and bring confidence into that locker room so that they can go out and continue their fight for a playoff spot. And he also has to do it on the field. because they were 3-0 and he was looking like an MVP candidate, averaging 400 yards a game. He's fallen off the last 2 weeks, averaging about 200 yards a game with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So Derek Carr is under duress this weekend. All right, we also got Odell Beckham Jr. That's right, another wide receiver on the list. On paper, OBJ is just what the doctor ordered in Cleveland. A playmaker, a deep threat to go along with that play action game because of their strong running game. He'd be great in play action there, but it just hasn't materialized. Whether it's the injuries, whether it's connection with Baker Mayfield, it is not happening. Last week, he has 2 catches. He drops a 4th down pass inside the opponent's 20-yard line that really proved to be big in their loss to the Chargers. So OBJ has to step it up. People are talking about they should trade him, including our own Nick Wright, who loves OBJ, saying they need to trade him. But what is his value? How much is somebody giving up? He hasn't had a 100-yard receiving game in 2 calendar years. All right, so OBJ needs to step it up, and he and Baker need to get on the same page because they can be special, or at least he can show that he can be special so he can get moved elsewhere. All right, at number 1 on the under duress list this week, Tua Tagovailoa. Yes, he's coming back from the fractured ribs that kept him out for 3 weeks, and the Dolphins lost all 3 games. Now, they had designs on a playoff spot, and a lot of people thought they'd make the playoffs, but they're 1-4. So Tua has to come to the rescue. All right, Jacoby Brissett did the best he could, but it wasn't good enough. The question is Tua good enough? All right, the little bit of time that he's played, he's had a 19.2 QBR. He's completed 54% of his passes. He's thrown for 215 yards. The great quarterbacks do that sometimes in a half. He's got, 1 touchdown, I think, and 1 pick, something like that. All right, so he's got to show that he can go out here and lead them to victory. And you might say, well, in his first game back, yeah. When it's Jacksonville, yes. Jacksonville's on a 20-game losing streak. If he goes out there and loses to Jacksonville, you think the Deshaun Watson rumors are already piping hot.
Okay.
They will be boiling, steaming hot if Tua doesn't deliver it. And that, Jenna, is the under duress list.
No. All right, listen, last week I said it was a perfect list, so I'm not afraid to give flowers when you deserve them.
He's interrupting.
Right when this show started, right when it started, I was doing a list of the 10 best players in the NBA. And what showed up on the screen for some reason was the 6 teams with the best record in the NFL. Just an error by our graphics department. Somehow this list is worse than that one. This is the worst list I've ever seen in any format in the history of sports television. Not only because you're wrong, but because you like everyone is related to who should be on there. For Patrick Mahomes, you put him on there and you spend all your time talking about the defense. Hey, Chris, it's your list. You could put defensive players on there. A.J. Brown you put on there.
Who?
When all the issues with the Titans are about their defense. Put Frank Clark on there, put Honey Badger on there, put Chris Jones on there, whomever you want. Titans, it's all defense. Derek Carr, again, you have like the family right. You know who's under duress? It's not Derek Carr. It's his literal family after he came out and said yesterday, listen, I have family members who have sent emails like that. If I'm David, I'm like, oh boy, stop that. Like, let's focus on football, buddy. And then you have Odell. Odell's not the one under duress. It's Baker. Baker's my guy, but Baker's the one that is having the screws put to him. Baker's the one who has questions about his contract. Yeah, that's the one edit we're actually going to do because otherwise the whole thing would just be redacted, one giant bar across the screen. And Tua, the Dolphins have won 1 game this year. It's the game Tua started and finished. Since he's been gone, they've been terrible. The idea they're like, oh, some guys put up Tua's year-long numbers in a game. Yeah, because that's what he's played, buddy. He played 1 game and then got hurt immediately in the start of game 2. I know you're a very You have the highest morals of anyone on the show by far. You're a great man, and you're not a degenerate. But were you drunk last night? What is happening? This is really, really bad, Broussard. It's bad, and it's a little embarrassing for the show.
And to
Nick,
Jenna.
that was cute. That was cute. And maybe it is time for me to take Wild's advice of more honey, less vinegar when I go in on your tears. Because that's what this is all about. This is clear.